All right, welcome to the last module test review. Make sure your name is on this. Remember, you can use it on the test. Today is June 1st. Welcome to June. All right, level 1. And remember, you want to use your Module 11 packet for a lot of this work. Module 1 is, or level 1 is 69%. That is a D plus. Almost a C minus. All right, so this first part, level 1, I can identify key pieces of an expression or equation. This is from the pre-module review. And it looks at some of this vocab here. So if you open up to your pre-module review, notice we talk about expressions and equations, and then we talked about variables, coefficients, constants. So we are going to circle coefficients. Coefficients are numbers attached to letters that are multiplying by the letter. So 2 is attached to W, so 2 is a coefficient. 4 is attached to R, so 4 is a coefficient. 9 is attached to S, so 9 is a coefficient. So those are the 3 coefficients. 13 doesn't have a letter attached to it, so it is not a coefficient. It is a constant. Next is to box the variables. Remember, variables are letters. So I have an X here. I'm going to put a box around it. And I have a Y over here, and I'm going to put a box around it. Those are my only 2 letters in this equation. Lastly, you're going to underline the constants. Constants are just numbers by themselves. 2 has an A attached. 14 doesn't have anything attached, so 14 is a constant. G is a variable, and then 19 doesn't have anything attached, so 19 is also a constant. If you are able to do those 3 things, you will get a level 1. Level 2 is a 79%, and that is a C plus, almost a B minus. And this is the I can solve equations with addition and subtraction. This is going to be 11.1. Oh, excuse me, not 11.1. That is writing equations. This is going to be 11.2 is solving. So you have to remember what your inverse operations are. So remember, the first thing you do is you want to draw a line down the equal sign and put your variable at the bottom. So we're solving for G. I want to know what G is worth. So to do that, we need to identify what operation is happening in this equation. I see a plus sign here, which means we want to do the opposite of that. If I want to get G by itself, I need to get rid of plus 17. So we are going to do the opposite, which is to subtract 17. 17 minus 17 makes 0, so it cancels it out. We're just left with G on that side. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side of our line. I'm going to do 26 minus 17. You are welcome to use a calculator. That is going to give us 9. This might look familiar. It is the same as your notes. Hint, hint. All right, over here we have x minus 8 equals 5. Draw your line down the equal sign. Set up x equals at the bottom. We have to identify the operation that's happening. Here we have a minus sign. So if I want to undo minus 8 or get rid of it so I have x by itself, I need to do the opposite. Opposite of subtraction is addition. I'm going to add 8. Negative 8 plus 8 makes 0 and cancels out. Going to do the same thing to the other side. 5 plus 8 is going to give us 13. If you can do that, and you're only going to have 2 problems on the test, if you can do those, you'll be rocking and rolling with a 79%. Flip your page over to level 3. which is an 89%, which is a B plus, almost an A minus. I can solve equations with multiplication and division. This is 11.3 in your notes. And we're going to do the same steps. You have to remember, though, sometimes multiplication and division look a little bit different than we're used to seeing them. Multiplication is going to look like this, the number attached to the letter. This says 4 times m, or there's 4 m's. Division is going to look like a fraction, k divided by 2. So remember, these are the two things you're looking for 11.3. All right, so here we have 4s equals 28. I'm going to draw my line down the equal sign. My variable is s, so I'm going to put that at the bottom. Now I have to identify what operation is happening. Well, there's no operation symbol in between, and the only invisible one can be multiplication, and it looks an awful lot like multiplication from our notes. So this is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm just going to divide by what I want to get rid of. I want that 4 to go away, so s is by itself, so I'm going to divide by 4, which cancels out and just leaves us with s by itself. If I divide the left side by 4, I need to divide the right side by 4. 28 divided by 4. Remember, I'm using this fraction sign as a division symbol. 28 divided by 4, which is going to give us 7. And remember, you can use a calculator. We have j divided by 2 equals 9. Again, a fraction means division. Draw my line down the equal side, put a j at the bottom because that's what we're solving for. Now, if I have division here and I want to get rid of that divided by 2, I'm going to do the opposite, which is to multiply by 2. Dividing by 2 and then multiplying by 2 cancels out, so we're just left with j by itself. If I multiply the left side by 2, I also need to multiply the right side by 2. 9 times 2 is going to give us 18. If you can solve equations like that, you are going to get an 89% or a B plus on your test. Lastly, level 4, this is 100%, which is an A. I can write equations from words. This is 11.1. All right, so the quotient of 5 and a number is equal to 9. Well, let's circle our numbers. So we have 5, we have 9, and don't forget, wherever it says a number, that is also a number. We just don't know what it is, so we have to pick a variable to represent it. I'm going to go with the letter P. So the quotient of 5 and P is equal to 9. Now let's figure out what operations are happening. I see the word quotient, and I know that's a division word. And I see the word equal, and I know that means equals. Now, I can't do divide 5p equal 9. That's confusing. But I know that I should have division in there. So I'm going to go ahead and move it between my two numbers. So we have 5p, 9. I know that equals needs to be between p and 9, so I'm going to put that right here. And I can't put division out front. That doesn't make sense. But I know we're dividing, so I'm going to move division to be between 5 and p. So we end up with 5 divided by p equals 9. There's my equation. Lastly, Mr. Keeley has 15 pencils. He gives out some of them. He now has 7 pencils. We have 15 pencils. We have 7 pencils. Some of them, we don't know how many that is, so we're going to pick a letter. I'm going to go with G. Because it doesn't matter what letter we pick. You can pick any letter you want. I don't care what letter you use. We're going to go with G. Now we need to figure out our operation words. Gives out, or gives away. If I'm giving things away, I'm essentially subtracting. Now has is going to be our equals word. So now we have 15 minus g equals 7. We don't even need to rearrange. 15 minus g equals 7. There's our equation. Done. Make sure you review anything you need to review before your test tomorrow.